Ladies and gents, I truly am on that Spider-Man craze right now. For the love of God, we're selling Spider-Man boxes at work. Could you blame me? I decided to hell with any other movie I wanted to take a look at, and let's knock out the Sam Raimi trilogy once and for all.
Stay tuned for that video in 14 months from now.
Guess I overestimated that one. But hey, with the release of Far From Home, it seems fitting to take a look at a Spider-Man movie that has f*** all to do with the latest one.
Oh man, Spider-Man 3.
The development and lead up to the film's release is so muddled and messy that it could make for an entire documentary. There was so much going on behind the scenes that looking back, the movie seemed doomed even before the camera started rolling. Sony wanting Venom to be in the movie and Sam Raimi not wanting anything to do with that. Tons of creative differences. A script that could no way fit everything that Sony wanted in a 2-hour runtime. We're honestly lucky we got the film that was released and not something far worse. The real killer of Spider-Man 3 was just how incredible Spider-Man 1 and 2 were. They were building up to one of the best trilogies ever put to screen. People were expecting to be blown away, and what we got was a slap in the face of the fans. It's no surprise that this was not seen by the critics as a success. Granted, it's not a complete bomb in terms of reviews, and honestly I think the fans were far more upset with this film than the critics were. At the very least, the film was a box office hit, making around $890 million, which is still the highest grossing Spider-Man film ever as of now. However, had this film been great, it could have easily crossed the $1 billion mark without any doubt in my mind. I've always been a firm believer that this film did not deserve anywhere near the amount of hate that it got, and I'm not gonna lie. When I was rewatching the film, I was getting kind of worried that this would be the viewing that would change my clouded fanboy view of this film and see it for the steaming pile of fucking garbage that it is. It didn't. Look, if you're dead set on this movie being the worst thing ever created since blue cheese, seriously, that shit is disgusting, that's completely fine and I can't do anything to change your mind. What I can do is let you see through my dirty dough-covered glasses and try to understand the merits and value that this movie holds that I believe doesn't get enough credit. Now don't get me wrong, there is a lot wrong with this movie, and let's get that out of the way first. We could be here all day talking about inconsistencies and things that just don't make any damn sense. Why are there still bullies in a college lecture? At that age, all we do is go to class silently and leave as soon as class is dismissed. We're all too tired to do anything else, let's be real. Shouldn't Captain Stacy be freaking out way more than he is? He looks so calm, it's fucking hilarious. This entire scene. While admittedly it is fun to point out all this out to no end, I want to spend time with the real culprit of why exactly this movie fell so short of the first two. And a lot of you will agree is the fucking screenplay. There just isn't enough time to develop any villains. There's stupid conveniences in the story that allow other plot points to happen, like Harry's memory loss, which suddenly comes back because he kissed MJ. Eddie is, and I say this with a grain of salt, set up early in the film and we just forget about him. He is sprinkled in the film here and there, but nothing substantial to continue to build off of. But who cares? We need Venom in here. So let's just make him hate Peter because he justifiably ruined Eddie's career and no one will question anything. If MJ would have just talked to Peter, so much conflict could have been avoided, and it's never said why she doesn't just speak up. Yeah, I get it. You got fired from the career you've always wanted. That's probably traumatizing as hell. But he's your boyfriend. Talk it out. Damn. Look, he literally asked if everything is okay. Just speak up. Bernard showing up just in time for the final fight to tell Harry that his father killed himself and not Spider-Man. Why wouldn't you say something before?
My best friends. I'd give my life for them.
Oh gee, I wonder what'll happen. Oh, that happened. As you can see, even I can get worked up over this movie. So for all of you that can't stand this film, I understand. But please believe there are some positives in this underwhelming mess of a movie. What broke my Spidey heart the most was seeing the effort that was placed to make this film shine. The villains were all introduced early to try to give time to develop them, but we all know how that ended up. This entire scene shows that there could have been an amazing villain in the Sandman. I like the idea that in Spider-Man 2, MJ was the one with the fame and success, posters with their face everywhere, and Peter was struggling and no one giving a fuck about him. It was a neat idea to switch up the roles in the sequel with Peter having the spotlight and MJ failing at life, and I really wish there would have been more time to see that unfold organically rather than what we got here. One of the first few things I noticed about this film upon rewatch is the signature dynamic movements that Raimi still showed off in this film. So much visual greatness is going on, and it's always a treat to see Sam Raimi move the camera so beautifully. The action scenes are plentiful and just as kick-ass as before. Yeah, nothing touches the train scene, but the amount of action and fun you get to witness in this movie makes it hard to ever get bored watching the film. There were some funny ass moments in the movie. Bruce Campbell and Peter's interaction here is fucking gold. And Mr. Dickovich had me laughing pretty damn hard too. I know it's easy to make fun of this, but I don't know. If I'm being completely honest, I think it's hilarious. And in a way, kind of fits Peter's character. Think about it. If a nerdy, geeky guy really thought he was the shit, I'd imagine it would look something like this. That being said, I won't argue with you if you hate it. I can definitely understand why. Aunt May still carries emotional weight with the few scenes she's placed in, which is a true testament to her acting abilities in general. I especially love the scene where she gives Peter her ring. It feels so wholesome. I know some don't don't really like how the black suit is just a carbon copy of the traditional blue and red suit just covered in black, but I love the hell out of it. It's so sleek and badass. Even with the lazy ass writing and conveniences littered throughout the narrative, for some reason I still felt emotional in scenes where you'd think there would be nothing there. Harry's death still hit me harder than I thought it ever would have, even with the whack ass foreshadowing, and anything with the Sandman and his daughter, with the exception of a few scenes, did make me feel emotional. The final fight did have a heroic and grand feeling to it, and it was a thrill to watch again. It made it feel like the cluttered story we were watching prior feel like it was all worth it. I truly think Sam Raimi directed this film well, considering the situation he was placed in. Having to work around a script he didn't believe in is already hard enough. But even with everything that was shoehorned into the film, there was still effort. There was still a feeling of everyone trying. It's hard for me to get mad at a movie that so obviously wants to be more than it can. The shot composition is still top notch. The acting for what they're given to work with is still great. The score is more or less the same, with a few added pieces that kick so much ass. I love the new take on the Spider-Man theme by combining the Venom and Sandman theme into the traditional one we heard in the first two films. And even with all of the mess that was forced into the movie, the ending still tied up all loose ends to give us closure on everyone's character. I genuinely do enjoy my time when I get to rewatch this film. I know why some might hate it. It let down some of the greatest superhero movies ever put to screen and was building up to an incredible third entry that fell so short of expectations, which is a justified reason. But I think it does enough good and gives more than enough of an attempt to live up to the first two installments. I genuinely cannot stress enough just how hard it is for me to hate this movie. But this one...